Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. Today I'm going to set up, use, and review the xTool S1 laser. Now I am reviewing the 20 watt laser. The S1 comes in a 20 watt, a 40 watt, as well as a small infrared head for engraving. Now those laser heads are interchangeable. So for instance, I got the 20 watt laser, I could purchase the head for the 40 watt laser and swap those easily. So they are very easy to swap around. So if you're interested in the S1, let's talk about what comes in the box and how you use this laser. Now if you're going to purchase an S1, you would need to decide between those laser heads as well as some of the accessories. And I'm going to mention some of the accessories in this video. All of the accessories are an additional purchase. I will be reviewing some of the accessories in future videos. This video is mainly going to concentrate on if you just purchase the laser itself. So first let's take a look at what comes in that packaging. Remove the machine from the box and you will have some packaging material on here. Go ahead and remove that. And then when you open the lid, the rest of the components will be inside. And you might notice that I'm setting this up beside a window. So there's a window just over here because I'm going to vent this out the window. You can also add an optional air filter accessory where you could vent this inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all of these pieces and show you everything that comes with the xTool S1. The laser itself is about 30 inches by 22 inches by 7 inches and it weighs about 44 pounds. So it's not overly large. It is a manageable size for a home crafter. And the weight is not bad, however, the size makes it kind of unwieldy. So it is kind of difficult to handle by yourself. So I do recommend a 2-person lift to get it out of the box, put it onto your table, and to get it set up. However, I am able to move it around on my table a little bit if I need to, all by myself. So with the machine, you will get a couple of user manuals, power cord and USB cord, the laser module itself. There is like a little toolkit and it's very cool. So it just comes in its own box. And then there are some sample materials as well as these that they're calling triangular prisms that you can put your materials on while cutting. Then you also get the exhaust pipe itself that will be attaching to the back of the machine. So now that you have that laser out of the box and you see what comes in the box itself, let's put it together. The steps are very, very simple, but I'm going to walk through them very quickly for you. There are 2 pieces that are added with screws for shipping. Use the screwdriver that comes with the xTool S1 to remove those on both sides. Once those are removed on both sides, you can grab this bar in the back and just gently pull it forward. This is where you will add the laser module. On the side of the laser module, there are 2 ports. You'll want to connect the cords of the laser to those ports. So we'll just push each of those into place. There's a locating pin on the back and a hole in the laser itself. So we want to add this to the laser, adding the locating pin to that hole, and then pressing down. So it should just slide right into place. Now the screw holes should line up at the top and you just add the screws to hold it into place. Then on this side there is a distance sensor and it's sort of magnetic and it just pops into there, but there are some locating tabs. So you just want to make sure you get it in the right location. Now we'll attach the hose for ventilation. So first we'll remove this cover that's on here. Once you loosen all the screws, just remove this. Then you can line up the holes on the tube that comes with the S1 and add screws to the 4 locations. Then put the other end of the hose out of a window to use. This area is for the air assist. So if you have the air assist, you would follow those instructions. I'm not going to go through that in this video. This is where you will put all your cords. So the first thing is a key. And it's just a little USB port and it goes in that bottom port. You can remove that and prevent people from using your xTool. Next up is the power cord. Goes in this top one. There's an on and off button here at the top. And finally a USB cord if you want to use that to connect to your computer, and you can put that in this port here and use the other end to put in your computer. Then you can plug your laser in, and on the back there's an on and off switch and you just switch it to the on position. And I did want to note, you'll hear the machine start up. I did want to note that there is an emergency stop button on this side. So if this button is pressed in, the machine shuts down. You just kind of twist it and it pops back out. And then the machine will turn back on. So be sure this button is out before you hit the button to turn the machine on. Otherwise, the machine will not turn on. So you just saw that safety shut off on the laser. The laser also has a fire detection system within the laser itself. So it will shut itself off if it detects a fire, which I find is nice. As well as that green lid that protects your eyes when the laser is running. So overall, this is a very safe laser to operate. But as always, you want to be around whenever your laser is running. So be sure to stay close to the laser, keep a fire extinguisher, fireproof blanket, that type of thing handy as the laser is operating. And I do have another video that covers laser safety, and I will link to it in the description below this video. So be sure to watch that video, cover all those laser safety steps when you operate any laser in your home or in your craft studio. You'll need something in the bed of your laser to hold your material up. That is what the triangular prisms that come with the machine are for. So you can add those to the bed of the machine. You could also purchase the optional honeycomb tray that would go in this spot. I would recommend the honeycomb tray, but you can use the prisms for now because they do come with the machine. So now that that laser's set up, it's on, we need to operate it. You will need some kind of computer software to operate it. You can use xTool Creative Space or a program called Lightburn. I'm going to use xTool Creative Space in this video and future videos. However, if you are a fan of Lightburn, I did want you to be aware that you could use it with the xTool S1. So I was able to hook the laser up via that USB cable to my computer and then connect the laser itself to Wi-Fi. Then after that, I don't need the USB cable. I can send whatever designs I have straight to the laser through Wi-Fi. That was very easy to set up right in xTool Creative Space. So now let's open xTool Creative Space and take a look at making a quick project. So first you want to upload your design. So I'm going to pick image and I'm going to find the image on my computer. Now you can use photo files or SVG files for cutting on a laser. And the file I'm using I will have for free in the description below this video, so head there if you want to grab the file. And then for this file I want to put it like on a sign, but I don't have a box around the file itself. But I can use the shapes right in Creative Space to add a cut box around that file. And I also use the tools within Creative Space to center that design up. So there are several different design tools within xTool Creative Space. And I may do a future video all about xTool Creative Space, but these are just the basics. Then you want to click on each of your layers and set the process type. So you have a score, an engrave, and a cut. A score will just barely score the top of the material. Engrave will go even deeper and engrave into that material, and cut will cut through the material. Here you can also set a power and a speed. When you set your material to, like say, the 3mm walnut plywood, it will automatically set your power and speed for you. If you want to change it and alter it, you can do that here. Then once I have that laid out, I'm going to pick a material. So I'm going to pick whatever material that I'm putting inside the xTool S1. In this case, I'm using 3mm plywood. You can go ahead and open the lid and put your material inside. Remember, we added those triangular prisms, and your material will set on top of those prisms. The xTool S1 doesn't have any camera in the machine, so there are a few things you're going to need to do to measure the thickness of your material as well as locate the design on your material. To auto measure your material, you will move the laser head to approximately the center of your material and click the auto measure button. This may prompt you to reset your distance sensor. If it does, just press reset it and the machine will automatically do that for you. Then you just press that auto measure button again and it will measure the thickness of your material. Next, we're going to do a process called marking. This is going to set the edges of your material. So press start marking and you'll have a couple of different options. I'm going to go with a rectangle because I'm using a rectangular piece of material. Then you want to mark two corners of your material. So you're going to move the laser head with your hand to the first corner and press the button on the front of the machine. Then move the laser head to the second point and press the button again. When you're moving the laser head with your hand, you are going to look at where the crosshairs are on the material and you want to line those crosshairs up with the corner. This will mark your material and locate it right in xTool Creative Space. And now you can see I have a square on the screen. That square indicates where my material is. I can then resize my design to fit my material as well as move it into any location I would like to cut it out of the material. Then you'll just click process to send the file to your xTool S1. You'll need to press the button on the front of the machine to actually start the engraving and cutting process. Once you press that button, the machine will start up and it will engrave as well as cut your piece in this case. You can see the machine in both engraving and cutting in real time in this video. Now this is the 20-watt laser, so it will be slightly slower than the 40-watt version. However, you can see that this is fairly fast, especially compared to the Glowforge Aura, which is only like a 4-watt laser. Also, I just wanted to note here that I did not add any masking to this plywood when I was cutting and engraving it. It probably could have used some masking and I could have eliminated some of those burn marks, but I just wanted to see what would happen if I didn't add any. This is xTool material that I'm adding in here, and I was surprised it's not masked on the front or the back, so you would need to add the masking before you would cut it. So overall, I was very impressed with the xTool S1. It was easy to set up, easy to use, and I really liked the Creative Space software. I felt like it was very easy to use even for a first time. The only thing I had to look up was how to measure the thickness of the material and mark those corners because there wasn't any camera. I was very used to the Glowforge Aura with the camera where I could see my material. So I was a little bit confused about that portion, but once I found how to do that, it's fairly easy to operate, cut, and I was happy with my project. I do think the settings could have been altered a little bit to engrave a little deeper. I wasn't exactly happy with how deep it engraved. So I do think you might need to play with your material settings with this machine so to get your material settings right and just how you would like them. I do also love the safety features of this machine, and the price point is not bad. So the xTool S1, the 20 watt is about $1,700 right now, and the 40 watt is about $2,200. So for a laser of this type, it is not bad. Now it is still a diode laser. So the con of the S1 would be that it cannot cut clear acrylic or any type of probably light colors or blues. It is going to have issues cutting those or engraving them. So I would not recommend a diode laser at all if you want to work with clear acrylic, lots of light color acrylics, that type of thing. I would definitely recommend a CO2 laser instead. So when you're talking about xTool lasers, the M1 is their bottom line laser. It is a diode laser. It's about $1,000. There's D1 lasers, so a D series laser, and that's sort of in the middle. However, those D series lasers do not have an enclosure around them. So I personally don't like those for my use because I like the enclosure for safety reasons. You should never look at a laser when it's operating. Then the next step up would be what I'm showing you here, which is the S1. And the S1, you could get it, like I said, in a 20 watt or a 40 watt. 20 watt would be great for engraving and cutting. If you wanted it to be faster, cut a little bit thicker materials, be more powerful, the 40 watt would be what you would go with. Now there is a head for the S1 that is a lower wattage that would just be for engraving. I have not used that head. I haven't reviewed that head. However, you can get it as well. So those are kind of the three options with the S1. Then xTool also has a P2, which is a CO2 laser. So that's what you would go to if you wanted to do things like clear acrylic, light color acrylic, that type of thing. Anything that you would struggle with a diode laser. Now, how does this compare with a Glowforge? Diode lasers are similar to the Glowforge Aura. So the Glowforge Aura is also a diode laser. However, the Glowforge Aura is much less wattage. So it is a very low wattage machine. So this machine could do more than the Glowforge Aura. However, in comparison with a Glowforge Pro or something like that, which is a CO2 laser, that would be a machine that is comparable to the xTool P2, not the S1, if that makes sense. So when you think about lasers, think about diode lasers as that beginner-friendly laser that won't do as much, and CO2 lasers is a more professional laser. However, the CO2 lasers are much more expensive. So diode lasers are often something that beginners start with because they are fairly beginner friendly. So all that being said, I do think that the xTool S1 is a great laser for beginners looking for a diode laser that is a higher wattage. This high watt diode laser is perfect for those of us that want to craft at home, don't want to invest in that CO2 laser, maybe don't really want to cut clear acrylic, or happy with doing some wood crafts and engraving crafts on our diode laser. The xTool S1 might be something you want to look at. Now, I mentioned that there are a ton of accessories for the xTool S1, and I am going to get into those in future videos. The bed size on the xTool S1 is about 23 by 15 inches. That means that you can do very large pieces of material right in the bed. However, I am going to review in a later video. There are some accessories you can add. So you can add a riser base, you can add a conveyor, you can add a rotary attachment. You can do a ton of things with this xTool S1 with more attachments. And I also mentioned the honeycomb tray, and as well as the air filter accessory that would allow you to operate it away from a window. So tons of things you can add on. Those do add on to the price. So this video is for just the basic laser. What are you gonna get if you just get started with the basic laser? Then from there, we're gonna add on those accessories and see what else this machine can do. Once you add on those accessories, it does way more than a Glowforge Aura, and I'm gonna show you why. So be sure to stay tuned to this YouTube channel to see that. If you like this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions about the xTool S1, you want me to answer them in a future video, or I might answer them in the comment section, just drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss the future videos on this machine, as well as our other content. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.